Hello, and welcome back to the 6th Street Underground, a Zilla Zone Zero podcast discussing all things ZZZ. As always, I'm your host, Eric, and I'm joined by my ever-wonderful co-host, Brian. Hi, Brian.
Hello, Eric.
We've done it.
We've done it. What have we done?
We've survived the
creator
entirety. The creator arc? We'll say arc.
It definitely seems like this is the end of the creator arc. Spoiler alert, we're talking about the story, so
yeah,
hang up if you don't want to know.
Yeah, let's do that caveat real quick. Hi, everybody. It's been 2 weeks since, at least 2 weeks, since version 2.5 came out, which means today we're going to talk about the story for version 2.5. All of the wonderful stuff around, what was the name of it?
The creator?
The name of the actual, no, the name of the actual, patch.
To be fuel
story.
for the night?
To be fuel for the night. We're going to be talking about all of that. So if you have not played all of that, which is kind of understandable, it's a longer one, pause and then go do that.
Come back in 8 hours.
In like 6 hours. Yeah, we'll see you in a day.
Yeah, this was... We'll have to get into it quickly because this was a...
Yes.
We've been asking for it, and they delivered. They gave us a long patch of story.
Yep. We were thinking at the end of last year, like, okay, we know they're gonna wrap it up, but there's a lot. So we were hoping it would be long, and I had that feeling at about hour, I don't know, 4, that I was like, this is what we asked for. Oh Christ! I have to do an episode on this like tomorrow.
Yeah, which I
what
will.
Am I gonna do?
I will say though, I liked it. It didn't feel like they were stretching it out just for the sake of stretching it out. Like they were just taking the time they needed to tell the story, which I liked.
Yes, I agree. I hope this is a sign of things to come. They gave it the right amount of time to breathe. They hit a lot of the things that they really wanted to hit. Really enjoyed it. The timing is an issue on my part, not on the game's part.
I think
just because like
it came out during the holidays, so both of us were like traveling. So yeah, I just dedicated one day to just sitting down, and this was my day, was just playing the story because
it's a lot.
So
I wish I could have done that. I ended up having to.
Well, it's your fault for having a child.
I had a dang kid, so it was a lot of being like, okay, I took him for the morning. Now we're at home. He doesn't nap anymore. So, like, maybe while he watches a TV show, I can play for an hour. And I did that, like, every day over the weekend and then stayed up late last night to play through it. It was very good, but they let it breathe, and I really enjoyed it. So Brian and I are going to kind of walk our way through the story. We're both trying something a little bit different, because if we recap every story beat for the entirety of this patch, this episode will also be 7 hours long and unlistenable. More unlistenable. So we're going to blast through some things. We might skip a couple of minor plot points. That's okay if that happens. As always, I'll put a plug here and also at the end. If there's something that we glaze over or that we neglect to talk about, which is inevitable, and you really wanted to talk about it, join our Discord. There's a really great community, and the nice thing I had, Brian, last night was because I finished the story, I could unmute our Discord's lore and narrative discussion channel and catch up on like 2 weeks worth of people theory crafting about everything.
I actually forgot to do that, so...
So you're coming in fresh.
Yeah, because normally I'm able to tackle the story pretty quickly, so I only have it muted for like a day or two. But this one, I barely got it in time. All right, well, so like, we're already waffling before we get to the long story, so let's just jump into it.
Let's talk about the story.
All right, so it picks up...
Osmanthus cakes.
She loves Osmanthus.
Yes.
Yeah, so we pick up...
Brian, can I derail us immediately?
No.
because I did some Googling about osmanthus. It's a real thing. Like, osmanthus is a real flower that has a lot of importance in China for both like food purposes, like we saw in the story, but also medicinal purposes. And there are a good number of stories and traditions attached to osmanthus where it symbolizes like perseverance, but also purity. A lot of those stories are attached to the moon, which is probably important for our narrative stuff. There's also lots of stories around like enduring and like fully committing to an action when we talk about osmanthus. So like they say osmanthus a lot in this chapter, and not only does it make for this really cool like returning touch point for Yisheng Wang, but I think it has like bigger cultural overtones, and like there's a really cool like theming around it. Osmanthus cakes. Thank you for humoring me. You can actually go into our story now.
Well, now I've forgotten what the story was about. Just like Zhao has. But yeah, so we pick up and they're just like, hey, look at these weird flowers. And we're like, that's not good.
Yeah, that's bad.
And then
that's a bad time.
I do like how they almost immediately introduce, I just wrote him down as Angry Lou. Who
yes.
I wasn't sure, because we've talked about this before. Whenever people get generic models, like, I'm like, oh, he's not going to be that important. I even wrote down, he's like, he sounds important, but he looks boring.
Yeah. I wrote, oh, good. They've introduced a new named NPC we've never heard of before. This guy's going to be a problem.
And then they're like, oh, yeah, by the way, he's like the head caretaker of the temple. And also tied to the sword. So I was like, okay, whatever. Yeah. And then, so, he's talking, he's all about, this is when they start talking about like the difference between Zhao as a person and her as a title, wielder of the Qingming sword. Because obviously Lu is all about the Qingming sword wielder and upholding that.
Yeah.
And then I put that where Zhao's special person, because he talks about, like there's a prophecy about the Baizi having a special person, and I'm like, I just wrote, Vivian is not going to like this.
Yeah, Vivian's going to hate this. Uh-oh, it's going to be us. I mean, so we'll come back to the whole, like, I really hope at some point the Zenless writers start adding NPCs that aren't only relevant for one patch and are also clearly a narrative problem and then removed again. But that's okay.
Well,
like,
there's also
what he established. Yeah,
I was gonna say there's the flip side of when they do give us really interesting NPCs like Isolde, and then it's like either you give us boring NPCs because they're only going to be here for a patch, or they give us really interesting NPCs and they're still only here for a patch, and then everyone's like, oh, I wanted her as a playable character, not as a boss.
Wait a minute. There's a rotating cast issue, but Lu Hangzhou, Bad Boy Lu, really sets up at the beginning of this whole narrative, like putting it into clear terms what the entirety of version 2. Whatever has been about, which is like rising to meet other people's expectations for who you are, and the conflict between being seen as an individual and essentially being seen as an object, right? Because Lu Hongzhou's the worst for it, but for a lot of this chapter, most people, whether they intentionally do it or not, look at Ye Shengwang as the sword. Like, she matters because she has a sword, not because she's a human being or a horse girl, whatever. So like there's a lot of these themes that keep coming back on like self-identity and like agency even when you've got like bigger pressures being put upon you. So I appreciated him like making that very clear at the very beginning. paired with Belle being like, hey, maybe we should actually hear what Ye Wang wants to say as well. Like, maybe she should participate, while also balancing the fact that, like, she is the bearer of the Jingming sword, and that is a big deal, and is kind of the problem and also the solution for everything. I also wrote once and wrote it 9 more times in my notes, where in the world is Yishuan?
Oh, well, so
like, where are you?
So they actually talk about that while Lou is giving his, like, theme for the episode is...
Yeah.
She's with Hand in Hollow Zero because something is happening in Hollow Zero that the two of them combined aren't able to handle easily.
Mm-hmm. And they keep it really vague. They keep being like, yeah, she's, even when she comes back, spoilers later in the story, when she comes back, she's like, oh, I was in a hollow. Like, okay, hold on. There's clearly something going on.
You know, it feels very much like, because I don't even know if it's breadcrumbs. They, like, slap whole loaves of bread for what's coming in 3.0. But yeah, so I mean, I feel like that's kind of the implication, is that they've been trying to deal with something in Hollow Zero, and they're not able to. And so now that all of this will be resolved, that's why we go back to the main new Eridu in 3.0.
Back to 6th Street.
But in either way, and all this stuff whether it's actually narratively important, or if they just kept needing a reason for not two Void Hunters, or one Void Hunter and one Void Hunter level person to be here to solve this problem. Then they go through and they recap all of 2.0 for us very nicely, so that way, if you weren't paying attention, you're up to date. And then Zhao comes out.
And they had to do that because this is the first time they introduced the way to skip ahead if you're behind. So, like, if I remember correctly, like, can't you skip ahead and just straight up start this chapter without doing some of the previous chapters, or am I misremembering completely?
I have no idea.
Oh, that might be a Genshin thing. If it's a Genshin thing,
it might have been in this.
Either way,
it's just because I was up to date, so I didn't get the option to do it.
Yeah, we're up to date. I like a quick recap at the beginning, though. I think that helped. Even having played everything, it's like, hey, by the way, just remember, like, this is all the stuff that's been happening, building up, like, to what's about to unfold during version 2.5.
Yeah.
And there's lots of little things about how, like, the mayor's very involved with something offsides, like he's bringing all these other people in. In that story recap, we get this really good line about, like, more than saving others, I'd rather you learn to protect yourself, which is people recognizing that, like, Yisheng Wang is really desperate to sacrifice herself for everybody else.
Yeah.
Like, she really wants to. And by wants to, she feels like she has to. But, like, there's a lot of talk about sacrifice throughout this chapter as well, which pairs nicely with the fact that the creator is creating sacrifices against their wills, usually, as well. Right?
And it's also kind of a like the creator is doing the same thing that everyone wants, where because they hammer it really heavily that there's a constant cycle of sacrificing yourself, but it doesn't change anything. And so that's where the creator comes in of, like, if we just have one really big sacrifice, everyone loses their humanity, then we can all live together. So it's kind of like it kind of gives you an idea of why the creator as a force is so seductive. It's because you get these people who have only known loss or are expected to sacrifice, and they're like, hey, if you just sacrifice a little bit more, then they'll just a little bit more, and then we'll have happiness. So I do kind of like it that, like, the solution to beating the creator ends up not being to sacrifice.
Is intentionally stopping a sacrifice. But it is interesting, like, that's the allure. And we've seen now multiple people, and we'll get to more of that, are being like, well, we can use the creator's power without, like, going full on eliminate everybody, turn the world into a hollow, but a major sacrifice, but for the greater good of everybody, connects really heavily to Carol Arna, who makes a lot of appearances throughout this chapter as well.
Yes.
And so, like, I'm pretty sure the sacrifice theming does not end in version 2 point whatever.
No.
I think we keep seeing that a lot moving forwards.
So after the recap, they talk.
Yep.
Zhao shows up and they talk a little bit more about her having the title of Unbeaten Legend. And I had actually played the story after doing the group hollow exploration.
Okay. Yeah.
And so I wrote, I was like, she's the unbeaten legend, but then she immediately starts losing. But that's already resolved by the end of the story.
It resolves. I do appreciate that we get another moment of Yixuan being very worried about Yi Seongguang going to anything. So she's like, there's a problem going on. You have the Qingming sword. You have to stay here.
Yeah.
And anytime throughout the entirety of us knowing her, someone tells Ye Seongguang to stay somewhere, she will 100% not stay in that place.
Yes.
Full stop. We also learned early in that recap that there's this black mist that's connected to the creator's power, and that the black mist is intangible until, like, it can't be hurt until it turns into something.
Yeah, it needs a form.
And, like, it needs a form.
But yeah, so then, all of that kind of ends, and then we're our first introduction to what I labeled as Sultry's Zhao, which this is...
Oh, yeah. Oh, you mean Hot Guang?
Yeah.
Is what I had in my notes.
The alternate personality of Zhao, her hidden desire to not die.
Her, like scare quote, selfish desire to be like a real human being with like personal needs and wants, and not like sacrificing for others.
I like how both
awesome
siblings have alternate personalities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like that's their thing. They've got these like alternate, like not even like they're alternate personalities, but not. They're almost like a second form hidden within them.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not fully explained, and I think that's for the best. If you explain it too much, then you end up like once you attach too much solid lore to it, then it starts getting conflicting and stuff. I just like the idea that like they both have an alternate personality that they suppress, but as they kind of like fighting it, they're fighting your nature versus embracing it. Yin yang, that whole thing.
That whole thing, like being like, you have to accept every part of yourself as an important experience for them. I like that she calls out pretty much explicitly that like there's a whole bunch of people in Ye Seongguang's life who are saying, "Oh, I wish it could have been me with the sword instead of you. I would gladly take on that burden." When like it's really easy to say that.
Yes, knowing that they're
safe from. It's a very
safe
different thing to experience it. Exactly. It feels a lot like whenever I would tell people that like when my wife was pregnant and dealing with a lot of things associated with pregnancy, it was very easy to tell people like, yeah, I mean, if I could carry it, I would. I wish this was me instead. It's easy to do that when like I can just stand up from the couch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
it's the classic thing of like, oh, it's so easy to bear the burden when you know you won't have to.
Exactly. To say you want to bear it.
Oh, I would love to sacrifice my life, but and since I would do it, you need to do it.
You probably should.
And then then we have the Lemnian Hollow. They're like, oh, it's expanding. Is
by 0.002% it's expanding.
Yeah.
Which is still a lot, apparently.
Which, I mean, it's like a lot of
big.
things. It's like, oh, is your bank account expanding by 0.002%? That's not a lot. Is this inevitable death bubble coming towards you? Any amount is bad.
Is the void expanding at all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have to go in there. And I wrote down, I love how sneaky and manipulative Zhao is. Because we're like, she's
great.
And she's just like, oh, I mean, you don't have to go in and figure out what's going on, and you don't need my help, but it sure would be a shame if everyone died because you didn't take my deal. And
her whole arc around like equivalent exchange and like the value of an individual was really well put together throughout this entire
thing. I really like that I don't know if they're getting away from the older form of like the videotapes where they're like hard cut stories about characters, and if they're just kind of now lacing them in, because they did the same thing with Dial In, where you get glimpses like that's what they're doing. Of why they're like both of them have suffered heavily and have like that's kind of formed why they are how they are, but without like going so much that you lose like, because you didn't need to go much more into Zhao's backstory for you to understand exactly like why she developed the way she did.
We've got what we need for her. We know that she was part of a large litter in a family. She had a family a little bit like Vlad had a family, where it was like scare quotes family, and if you're not productive, get out.
Yeah.
Just instead of trying to kill each other, it was just like producing for the family. And so like she's dealing with like a mountain worth of like imposter syndrome trying to do things, and so she's compensated by being like really effective at her job.
Yeah.
And we kind of see that like open up, because we get a lot of her being like, people only want what will benefit themselves. People are inherently selfish. People, you have to do equivalent exchange. You have to trade things equally because otherwise you lose. And then watching like Yesheng Wang and Belle kind of break her of being like, no, you can just love somebody. It's cool.
I do like those times, like the classic. She was like, "Why are you doing this?" And they're like, "Because we like you." And she's like, "No, but why?"
Why? They're like, "Yeah, what do you get from liking me?"
She's like, "I haven't offered you anything." And they're like, "You don't have to." And she says, "Does not compute."
Yeah, I don't understand. Yeah, I mean, I think Zhao being there constantly, and it's also like they've done enough building up Krampus and Zhao ahead of time that the whole time she's like, I'm only here if there's something I can gain from it. I'm going to give you information. I'm not really telling you what I'm here to gain. Yeah. Gave that like nice little layer of like mystery and sinister stuff that we expect from anyone associated with Topps. Zhao grew on me, man. I knew it was gonna happen.
Oh yeah,
Zhao really. She's an interesting character.
Yeah, I know. I really like her. Like what they done with all of the Krampus people of like minus Ban Yue, but like Dial In and Zhao definitely
were. Back.
No, nothing bad against him. I just meant like Zhao and Dial In have the like fake, very friendly personality when they're like very cold and calculating underneath.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Ban Yue, they even call it out later. He's what you see on the tin. Like he's here to be a good guy, and he's just kind of a good guy.
Yeah.
He even gets like a shout out from we'll get to it later, but Yishi Wen being like, he's innocent. He thought he was doing the right thing. It's cool. Like, don't even trip about Ban Yue.
Yeah.
He's just cool.
But then I like that they again. I'd say that this story is the closest we've had to someone actively confessing their love for Belle.
Yeah.
And I think they never will, just because they don't want to like attach romantic love to any one character. Because like the amount of times that Zhao says how important it is, and there's a long list of her listing all the things she loves, and then they're like, I love you, but like more than just as like, I love my regular friends, and you're like, okay.
More than my Shifu, more than my brother, I need you.
My deep, selfish alter ego says the one thing I want in life is for you to not forget me.
Yeah.
You're like, that's as close as we're going to get to like, besides Vivian, who's just straight up like, I love you.
Obsessed. Yeah. And even then, like, I definitely dated a girl like Sheng Wang in college, where it was like, hey, this was too fast. Like, I need you to walk it back. You've gotten coffee twice. Like, actually, can you be cool? And like, I know there was some scuttlebutt online about people being like, the Yisheng Wang glazing of Belle or Wenceslas was too much. But when we like get her backstory filling in, and we see young Ye Guang as well, it starts to make sense what she's attached to Belle, and then Belle's being authentic the entire time. And actually, from beat one, seeing her as an individual first and a proto Void Hunter or bearer of the Qingming sword, or even like a fighter as like a distant second, is so different from everything. And like also seeing her as a person capable of taking care of themselves. Like, Belle's the only one in Ye Guang's life who does that immediately and authentically.
There's also the other fact of Zhao doesn't have a lot of relationships. Mm-hmm. She used to, but she's forgotten most of them. So you also, like, she's kind of adrift because, like, yes. By the time, like, this whole time, like, they're like, oh, the corruption just started. But as they talk about later, it's like, the whole time she's been in the story, she's already been suffering heavily from the corruption. So
she's been suffering.
So like she's struggling to piece together like a life. So having Belle as an anchor point, it becomes more understandable. She's like, this is literally like one of the few constants she has. So like she's desperately clinging to Belle.
Yeah. And it's a memory. It's like an old memory too. It's not just like, oh, I just met you. It's like, I met you, but also I remember when you pulled me out of a dark place when I was a child.
Yeah, so like, yeah,
it's wild.
Yeah,
but I did like that this like conversation around like what felt like an innocuous and probably forgettable meeting for Belle as a child was like a cornerstone experience for someone else.
I wouldn't even say it's probably forgettable. She literally, when she dreamed about it, she didn't know if it was real or not. She didn't remember any part of it. But then, so then we do the investigate the hollow, a whole bunch of teaching the new mechanics, you know, the sword, cool. Sword dash and whatnot. And then we
sword dash, reverse time.
We meet the mystery boo from last episode, Lockspring.
Yes. Lockspring slaps.
Made by Lady Sunbringer herself.
Okay, so this is the point in the whole story where, like, the story to me split, and I mean this in the best way possible because I'm obsessed with it. It split into being part wrapping up Ye Guang's arc and her becoming a Void Hunter, and part, hey y'all, Sunbringer's real, and she's coming, and it's gonna be cool when she shows up. Because there's so much of like getting us hyped for Sunbringer throughout this story, and I'm excited for it.
Oh, see, that's interesting. I didn't get the Sunbringer is coming back.
Oh, dude, she's absolutely coming.
I mean, I definitely got that they were like connecting us back to the main plot of the Void Hunters and the AIs and everything. Mm-hmm.
I think it was the discussion of him introducing, and I wrote down the name of it pretty early on, them introducing the idea that Sunbringer has created a flying island commune above New Eridu.
Yeah, Raz Khalifa.
Yes. I think we'll talk about it more later. It's like theories, but I'm very sure that Sunbringer is going to be pivotal for version 3 point everything. But let's talk about Lockspring because he's fascinating.
Oh yeah, I immediately like one of the first notes I have is when he's talking about himself. I'm like, he's a super strong Bangbu who definitely can no longer use his weapons because he said so.
He says he can't use it. He's totally authentic. He doesn't look scary at all.
Definitely, it doesn't constantly have like the angry eyes while you talk about like anything other than actively getting to the creator.
Yeah. I did like using, I think it's interesting to use a Bangbu, which are inherently kind of disarming because they are cute, even when we know what they can do, as a foil for Zhao Guang, because he's a Bangbu who has a primary purpose, which is to protect humanity, but because his weapons don't work, he can't serve that purpose. Almost like a sword wielder who isn't allowed to use her sword to fight to do the things she wants to do. And so like his presence throughout was a really good kind of way of like helping explore this whole like duty versus desire conversation. And then when we find out that spoiler alert, Lock Spring be scheming.
Yeah.
Like all of that continues to show like the outcomes, the natural like ramifications of not being able to fulfill that purpose that you've assigned for yourself, which also reflects back on like Yi Shi Yuan, whose whole purpose has been like, I'm gonna save my sister from the sword, and she's like, stop. Like, don't do that. And he's like, I can't stop, but I'll try to live for myself eventually.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of really cool a mapping of things across these different characters in this story that make it all feel very coherent and connected. Lock Spring, Bang Boo was made by Sunbringer.
Yep.
Right? And then we get a really cool picture of Sunbringer.
And then like I like that they like sprinkled more about Sunbringer and like the Void Hunters in general throughout, because I still find it funny because they keep talking about the Void Hunters, the original Void Hunters, as these figures of legend, as if the fall of Eridu didn't happen like 10 years ago. Like, there's these weird times where like they talk about legends and like, because I think at one point they even talk about like things being lost to time, and I'm like, it was 10 years ago.
Yeah, it was recent.
It was like a lot of people remember these, like, and I mean, granted, a lot of people died and stuff, but like,
sure,
it's like I get what they're trying to say, that like they, they were lost during the cataclysm, but like when you say they were lost to time, and you're like that
no, they just kind of
like that person over there like hung out with them, like,
yeah, it's my son losing his like something. I'm like, it's lost to time. Like, no, dude, you left it in my car. Like, it's fine.
But
it felt like when you have a very famous person in movies for like 5 years, and then they stop making movies for 10 years, and then somebody mentions them, and you're like, wait, they're still alive? I thought I could have sworn they died. Like, wait, what happened? I remember him in Scrubs. What are you talking about?
But yeah, so then we're finding these like images of Carol Arna, and it's one of those where you like looking back, you're like, okay, obviously, like, something was weird, because, like, there's just these random images that just trapped in the miasma that just happen to be directly tied to our interests and, like, keeping a nice breadcrumb trail for us to keep following.
Yeah, and because, like, everyone else is hallucinating, Belle's not hallucinating for most of it. Like, she sometimes hallucinates the big cocoon, but usually everyone else hears their own voice. Belle does not. And so, like, there's this weird, like, fabrication of illusions in the form of Carol Arna being put in front of her as breadcrumbs.
Yeah, and then, we're because the first time we see the Carol Arna illusion, Lockspring, like, just casually mentions, he's like, oh, yes, I've heard of this creator. Or he's like, that's different than the creator I know of. And, like, that was the first time I was like, oh, like, okay, he's with the creator, like just the way he said the creator I know.
Mm-hmm. I thought, and I don't think it was true. I thought Lockspring was being projected to the same way Belle and Wiggles can project to Eos. In the same way we saw Astro Yalger during that one event during the 1.x series. I thought at first I thought it was Sunbringer casting herself into Lockspring to be involved that way. That wasn't the case, but that's what I thought was happening for a while. And as we found out that wasn't true, and it was just like, okay, this Bang Boo has a lot of like thoughts and personality,
but also
he's really processing.
Sort of was.
He kind of was, yes. And I'm so excited.
But yeah, so then we have more stuff. We have the black flowers. So those white flowers turn black, and they're evil. Then we have more of
Jingming sword. Does
kind of generic stuff, and then Yi Xinyuan. He leaves a note saying, "Don't follow me," and the sword is a shackle.
Vague anime stuff from him again.
So
So they get out of we resolve it. We get rid of the flower. We get out, and there's this really cool ebb and flow throughout the entire chapter of like action and then like hanging out with Zhao Guang.
Yeah.
And then like action again. And I wrote in my notes 2 things. One, I really enjoy seeing Yisheng Wang do things that make other people happy that has nothing to do with her having a sword or knowing how to fight. Like, people love her. We see what her life could have been if she had not been attached to the Qingming sword, because she does know how to cook, she does know how to help people, and she likes to do it. The other thing I wrote is that I guarantee there are people online who hated this part of the story.
Oh, where she's making her doing her osmanthus
where
thing.
She's not fighting.
Yeah.
Yes, where she's talking about osmanthus again, and she's running around doing errands and flirting with Belle.
Yeah, we did have, like, so after we got out and we bring Lockspring to the new store to unlock the new collection stuff, then there's a little bit more where they talk about Yixing Wang, or Yizhuan is missing. Yeah. They're like, she was going through a hollow, and now no one can get in contact with her. And at first, I thought this was going to be another case of, like, Angry Lou was secretly a bad guy and, like, was... But then when, like, Pan and Jafufu are also like, no, we can't get in contact with her. I'm like, oh, this isn't him, like, hiding information. Like, no one can get in... This is
MiHoYo hiding information from us.
And then...
That something's going on. And I'm really glad they did it.
And then Lou yells at us for being bad influences on Zhao. And there's a big argument. And then the mayor calls us and said, hey, don't act rashly.
Yeah. The mayor calls us and doesn't actually say anything. Like, it breaks up the conversation, the argument between, like, us and Lou. But he doesn't really say much except that, like, I'm still the mayor. I'm still here.
Yeah. I did think it was funny because that was basically all I got. Is he called, he said, hey, mayor here, don't do this. And like you said, anytime someone tells Zhao not to do something, she's gonna do it.
She's gonna do it. I have in my notes, it just says, oh, the mayor called. He said, and then my line ended and I went to a new line. And I don't know if that was like, it's either they were gonna do more with that dialogue and they didn't, or they just needed a way to end the conversation, or it's proof that the mayor is like listening in.
Oh, and
I've
never doubted for a minute that like the mayor has tapped in either through their eyes or through something, or maybe he has an AI of his own. Who knows? I mean, we'll find out eventually. Maybe
he'd be scheming. Probably.
But yeah, so then we have
okay. Let's keep rolling.
Casual around the town stuff. I put they're really pushing her casual outfit. The amount of times they've had her in that outfit.
Too bad it's not as good as her normal outfit, man.
No. So yeah, so then we have, the nice little part where, she does her osmanthus cake stuff and everyone likes it and it makes her happy that other people are happy.
Yeah.
And then we have sultry Zhao again.
More hot Guang with some lore drops.
And then, Zhao's like, oh, I don't want to fall. And then Belle's like, well, I'll catch you if you fall. And I'm like, oh. And then I wrote, but who will catch Belle? Because she still has to fall.
She's still got to fall. Vivian's curse still lurks like the sword of Damocles above her head. Like, it's coming.
They said there are 2 forces fighting inside the and I wrote, inside the Qingming sword are 2 wolves.
Same thing. There's a creator wolf and a not creator wolf.
But yeah, so they finally give an explanation why. So it's always seemed to like, which I guess they talk about, no one actually understands the Qingming sword. They just know it's incredibly powerful. Yeah. And so if someone isn't wielding the sword because they have to vent the power of the sword, then the sword will basically explode and destroy a bunch of stuff.
And do like bad creator things to everybody. So the sword needs an exhaust valve.
Yeah.
And the sword wielder is the exhaust valve. But by being the exhaust valve, they accumulate detritus.
Yeah.
They accumulate
corruption.
Corruption, and then eventually it erases. Like earlier on, we learned that like her losing her memory is not the main effect of the sword. It is like a minor byproduct of the sword. Yeah. Like, it's not, in the grand scheme of things, not that big a deal. I mean, it is, but it's not. But like, it really does mean that like someone has to have the sword and they have to sacrifice themselves in order to not sacrifice the world.
Sacrifice.
And it continues to emphasize that like the sword is directly connected to the creator.
Yes. They go back and forth saying whether or not they share the same power or if it's from the creator's power, which, you know, I'm assuming that, you know, the creator is still more than we think. So I'm interested to see like how far this all ends up. But then we have our scene where she's trying to make the osmanthus cakes, and it's really sad because she doesn't remember. Yeah. And then they also, because I don't know if you've paid attention, you probably have, but they constantly talk about how Zhao really likes bold, strong flavors. And because people comment, they're like, oh, she really likes it really sweet. And then we find out that
she puts a lot of sugar.
She's been losing her senses for a while now. And so that's why she likes the really sweet, is because that's the only way to actually taste it.
She can't taste it otherwise. It needs to be super strong. And osmanthus is already a strong flavor, apparently.
Which I kind of assumed that was another thing of like, it would be like if someone was like, man, I really like wasabi cakes. And you're like, wasabi cake? That's a really strong flavor. And they're like, yeah, that's the...
Yeah, I put extra wasabi on top. It's my favorite. I think it would have been a good thing, and I'm glad they didn't do it. You know, like when your ears are blocked up, or you have earplugs in and you can't moderate your own voice, you yell.
What?
Yeah. You get it. I wish Ye Wang had just yelled the entire like story up until this point because she had no volume control.
Or like just have her like randomly inflect really loudly.
Yes. Yeah, we also get like Hot Guang tells us that she wants to stop Kind Guang, which is what I named her, from self-sacrificing, and she gives this great line of like, love will be the end of me.
Yeah.
And when you pair that with like Zhao Zhao discovering love as like the exception to the equivalent exchange rule, like there's a lot of this like love saves her, but Hot Guang thinks love will end her because of how Ye Wang loves the world.
I also love though that like Hot Zhao constantly talks about how stupid other Zhao is for wanting to sacrifice herself, and Hot Zhao is constantly sacrificing herself for Zhao. So like 100%. Even deep down she can't not sacrifice for someone she cares about, which I think is cool.
They're the same person. But it was really cool of her being like hypocritical in that way.
But then we have the really sad scene where Zhao shows up and she was like, look, Belle, I made the cakes we talked about we were going to have. And then that's when Belle's like, oh no, like corruption's really bad. And then invasion. Like literally then, like while they're having that conversation, the sky turns red.
Is that before or after we get the scene of Kid Belle hanging out with Kid Ye Wang? It's around that point that we get like Belle has that dream where she's like, I don't know if this really happened or not, but I had a dream about a child, Ye Wang.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to say that Kristen McGuire, who is the English voice actor for Ye Wang, put in work during this chapter because she had to voice essentially 3 characters. And the fact that like Hot Guang and Kind Guang sound different but still sound like the same character even when like you can't see them on screen.
Yeah.
She did a really good job. So I just want to say thank you. I know you listen, Kristen, so thank you so much for for putting in the sweat, putting in the work on this chapter. Okay, now things are happening and we got to get to action immediately.
So this is so like there's quite, you know, especially in ZZZ, there's the, you know, the trope of big things happen and everyone shows up to mobilize and you're like, things are really going to take off now because I'm like, ooh, Spook Shack is here. And then like Seed is here. Or section.
I remember being like, "Oh, cool, Obel Squad. Oh, cool, is Yunquay Summit. Oh, cool, a chat forum. Like, here we go."
Yeah, I was like, "Oh man, everyone's here. Bad things are gonna happen." And then I have Lou as a dick again because he's like, man. You have to use the sword and you have to kill these flowers. This is your whole purpose in life. Kill yourself so that way everyone else can live. Oh, and then
Lou shows up like every internet commenter and says, "Kill yourself," and then walks off.
But yeah, so the flowers turn black and like bad things are happening, and we're like, how are we going to handle this? And then Jafufu figures out that there's a way to destroy the flowers.
They can do monk magic.
I also wrote that finally has learned his place.
Yeah, he just shows up to be the man in the chair.
Because he even shows up and he refers to himself as like second assistant.
Yeah. I'm sorry, you said what name did you say? Who shows up to be second assistant?
Did I accidentally write down his right name for once?
Yeah, I think you did.
Well, you know what? He learned his place.
I'll just censor it.
So he gets his name used once. That's his good boy treat.
I'm putting a cuss word beep over it instead. I did think it was interesting because, again, this is one of those places I'm like, man, Yishuan would have been really cool to have around right now. But people are hearing hallucinations again from the creator. Belle doesn't hear her own voice. She hears Sarah's voice this time. So, like, it feels like there's like layers of the creator's like ability to influence people around it. And like Belle's piercing through at least one layer because she's not hearing her own voice. She's hearing somebody else's voice.
Yeah.
Coming from the creator, which is interesting, I think.
So, but yeah, so then we go into the hollow, and then I wrote this down because this is again another where they're like, Zhao's like, oh, if they work together, they're going to nail this mission.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, this is again, they're going heavy on like, this is like, as close.
These two need to go together.
Yeah.
We get more like they did a really good job of like the ambient world building with the new area and like the lore drops for us, because we're running around this mine and we're picking up all these little bits and data fragments and stuff. And admittedly, I was rushing to get through it, so I didn't pick up everything. I haven't done the full exploration for the mine yet, like I would like. But Sunbringer's fingerprints are all over this mine. So like, she's the one who figured out porcelain works. She's the one who dredged up the thing in the pit that had the creator in it.
They also definitely, like, because, obviously they control, like, where we're going. They sprinkle the really important ones in our paths. So all the ones that,
right in front of you
that start with like Sunbringers here, and then they're like the very next one you pick up is someone being like, there is a bounty on Sunbringer and Anton, and you're like, what happened immediately? Like, she went from being worshipped to being hunted, and which is,
they even force you to look at a statue with her head removed. Of like, okay, cool.
Yeah, which obviously is very important because it's. It's about how she's doing all this stuff, and then it's not perfect. And so because it wasn't perfect, they immediately assumed the worst and were like, let's kill Sunbringer.
Yeah. We also get and it's around this time, but soon, Sunbringer went to go talk to the creator, essentially. And we're led to believe that Sunbringer may have
become a messenger.
Become a messenger for the creator, and you're like, oh, no, don't do that. Yeah. Hey, don't do that, Sunbringer. You're cool. Your heterochromia is cool.
With the way they describe, they do it very well, because you find these fragments where they're talking about how Sunbringers betrayed them and everything, and you need a hunter, and then right after that they're like, even Sunbringer gave in to the creator, so maybe the creator has a point, because that's why
maybe this is okay.
They were like, that's definitely why people were hunting her. Yes. And then so they have Sarah attempts to, she tempts us again with hey, if you give in to the creator, we can save Zhao.
One of her like 2 lines in the entire chapter.
Yeah,
that Sarah gets. Like, Sarah's not in it. She is, but she's not in it. We did get this really cool, like, there's a lot of conversation about like gods in this one, because like they keep referring to Belle as, I think it was Belle, or no, it was Ye Shengwang, as like child of the god.
No, that was
child of God.
I think that was us.
Are they calling us child?
Belle was referred to as,
is being called child of God,
because they wrote down, and that's one, in a little bit once we go to the memory, but yeah, so we're referred to as child of God, bearer of curse and blessing.
And so I think that's interesting, because we get a line, I want to say it was from Zhao Zhao, where somebody says, mercy and compassion aren't human traits. They belong to gods. And we've seen time and time again where Belle's able to overcome challenges through mercy and compassion. And so like there was a cool kind of like layering of those themes onto the character. Because we're special.
Yeah.
We've got magic gold powers special. We find out Carol Arna's been researching the sword. The Qingming sword.
Yes.
And one of the little bits as well.
Yeah, and this is also where they're like, there is a connection between the Qingming sword and Tailless. So like,
yes,
it's not just a coincidence that the two Void Hunters are carrying cursed weapons. Like,
yeah, I'm glad they addressed that because it was starting to feel silly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yes.
So we get a little bit more about, things are more connected, and like this wasn't just a random offshoot story. And then, we're in there, and Sultry Xiao dies. She sacrifices herself to use the sword to kill the Varnus monster and destroy all the flowers. And then this is where we find out the true cost of the Qingming sword, where Xiao has lost all of her senses. Mm-hmm. She just exists now in a cold void, and like every once in a while can get glimpses of other stuff existing,
which is essentially what everyone keeps promising the creator will do for the world.
Yes,
which is neutralize everything. I wrote, oh no, we lost my favorite character, Hot Guang. Now she's not Guang.
Amazing.
Thank you. So and Yisheng Guang is now in the final stage of the curse.
Yes.
She's where we saw the few glimpses we saw of Yishuan's sister, of being like completely like pulled away from the human experience.
So then we bring her.
We got to fix that.
We bring her back to the temple, where Elder Lu is immediately mad at us for doing the exact thing he told us to do, which was have Xiao use the Qingming sword to destroy the black flowers. And then he's like, how could you do that? Now she's useless.
Yes. So I have words about him in my notes, but I can't say them because we try to keep our podcast clean. But Lu's a problem, and I hate him.
Yeah. They do a really good job of not making him have any redeeming qualities.
Yes. So let's fly through. I mean, we need to fix Yisheng Guang.
Yeah. Well, and this is also where
we can't do it on our own.
They officially connect the Qingming sword and the creator, because that's when Yishuan or Yixuan, her brother, shows up and says they're connected.
Horse bro.
I have a MacGuffin that will allow us to fix Xiao Guang. Yeah.
I found a really cool diamond. I know this is true because I was attached to the creator just a little bit. I did like that they used that like part of his story to kind of be like, listen, he knows what he's talking about. Like he put his hand on the source to the creator. He knows what's up. Let's go channel ourselves into this cool diamond.
Yeah, I get a lot of like Lord of the Rings connections, because trying to use the creator's power but not use all of it, and then you end up doing more harm than good. And then the whole he tapped into my mind, but also I tapped into his mind, so now I know a little bit about his plans.
So we'll just call Yeshu Yuan Palantir from now on, and we'll be good to go.
I mean, so they use the magic seam stone, and we fixed Yisheng Guang.
It's cool. I'm not going to belabor it. I thought the whole sequence of like getting her senses back one by one was really cool.
Yeah.
The first one for sound, because the memory box was so important. Did you notice that whenever you picked up a new fragment of the memory box, they added more instrumentation to the background soundtrack?
Yeah.
Which was really, really cool. And I only wish they had made the whole thing be in black and white until we got Vision back.
Oh, yeah, that would have been...
That would have been a cool thing. they couldn't do taste. They couldn't make the game taste better as we did more, but they could definitely have done like a visual effect a little bit. But I really liked that like collecting of her senses, and I just want to give like shout outs to Hoyo for combining smell and taste to make that happen a little bit faster, so we didn't have to do a whole extra sense.
When they first started, I was like, I'm like, all right, finding four more senses was going to be so that they did it just enough for you to get the point, and then you can keep going with the story, and you're not like stuck forever doing.
Yeah, we get a cool dodging fight sequence where you have to only dodge for a bit until she's like self-actualizes.
Yeah,
and then we beat up the crocodile from the thrall fight.
Yep.
And then we get out and everything's good except, oh no, we're not. Tops is here.
Immediately Tops. I enjoyed this part because they're like, you have to give us this sword or we're going to kill you. And then we immediately beat the brakes off of them. But while we're fighting them, they're still trying to taunt us as if like they're holding their own, which I always enjoy.
That was very satisfying. We didn't mention it, but right before this happens, Yishuan came back.
Yeah.
Like, we don't see her because she shows up, and she shows up after we've already stolen Yesheng Wang from her room. So they're like, no, this is bad. She shouldn't be here. Keep her away.
Well, I think, she showed up while we were gone.
Like, we had just left, and she's like, oh, by the way.
But, yeah, so then Zhao disappears, and then so we're like, we have to go find her, because what if she gets hurt? And then she was like hiding from us the whole time because we'll find out later. But then they have the little like comic book cutscene where Belle was about to use her eye powers against that ethereal until Zhao saved her.
Yes.
So I'm like, ooh. Belle's eyes are they're going to be either really good or really problems.
And they have added more powers to it at the end of this chapter that we don't have explanations for.
But
I do like after this, we get Zhao's story, which you and I already talked about earlier, so we won't.
I wrote down now. Anime protagonist power of friendship with Zhao.
There you go. But I liked Zhao Guang. Like, she's, after doing all of this, she's almost like experiencing the world for the first time. Like, her senses have come back. So she's like, wow, everything is... It's like, Brian, you don't wear glasses, but if you wear glasses, if you forget to get your prescription updated for like 3 years and you get a new pair of glasses and you put them on and all of a sudden the world's in HD again.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, this is amazing.
I did really like that because like they did just enough of that because she like stops by the store and she's like, oh my gosh. And that's when you realize
this
like
is great.
How little of the actual world she was experiencing this whole time.
Mm-hmm. She's been like muted for a long, and doing her best. Like, that just makes like all of the things she's been doing feel so much more impactful because she's been doing that without like a real way to experience the things she was doing. Yeah. You know, like, she's wanted so desperately to be able to engage with this world that she was drifting further and further away from.
So then we come back and there was less fanfare than I was expecting, considering like they kind of found a way to reverse this irreversible curse of destruction, and everyone's like, that's good. Good job.
Cool. You're back. But I think also like they're like, oh, cool, you're back. And then things happen immediately.
That is true. They did the good job of having
there's not a lot of time.
Yuan show up, but Yizhuan comes back and she was like, sorry, I got delayed. Something that is at least as powerful as me ambushed me in a hollow.
Trapped by a mysterious combatant.
Yes.
While taking a shortcut through a few hollows. Okay. I have theories. I don't know who that combatant is. I'm really interested to know who it is. I wrote in my notes Joyos or Sunbringer, but I don't know if that's true or just me being like, these are names we've seen a lot.
Well, and also at this point in time, we still think Sunbringer is corrupted by the creator.
Yeah.
So, but it's definitely... I'm expecting at least one of the original Void Hunters to be evil.
I think so. I hope so. I think we can like recap at the end, but I do feel like we need villainous characters. Let's talk about it later because I want to put a pin in that because I agree with you. I'm hoping that the person who trapped Yishuan in the void in a hollow is a major problem moving forwards because they've got to be strong to trap her. Is it Yishuan kind of Yishuyan? Oh, sorry, Palantir explains like what really happened. Yunquei Summit, through the machinations of Lu Hongzhou and some of his other acolytes, have been essentially searching for orphan children, exposing them to the sword to see if they react, and then moving forwards and pretending like it was an accident.
Yeah, I wrote down children farming for sword bearers.
Yes, and like it ends up not being true, but Palantir being like, "You probably killed our parents too to make this happen."
It's half true.
He
wasn't killing
people.
They
were watching.
But he was, like, he does basically admit he was setting up these situations where kids would interact with the sword to see which one the sword chose. So, like...
Yeah, she accidentally touched
like,
it.
Yizhuan didn't know about it. Which I kind of like, where, like, she talks, she was like, you know, it's kind of my fault. I was so angry and afraid of the sword, I happily let someone else deal with it. And so I turned a blind eye.
I had to pause for a moment here to think about Yishuan because, like, there was some, like, I was feeling a little bit of narrative tension for her of being like, she was so competent at the beginning of 2 point whatever. And now, like, it feels like, because of the perspective we've had, she hasn't done anything. Yishuan, I mean, is so still, like, ruined by losing her sister, and like the guilt and the blame of that, and the guilt of like someone else having to carry the sword when she's seen what's happened. Like, I wrote down that I think Yishuan might be a really good monk and a really good like person, but not a very good high preceptor.
No, and I think that's kind of...
And I think that's interesting.
Well, and I mean, because even from the beginning, that's kind of like she it's the same reason she doesn't want the Void Hunter title.
Yes, absolutely.
The reason she's the High Preceptor is because she's the strongest person to survive. Not because she's good at leading the temple.
Yeah, because she's not. She needs to be, she wants to be, needs to be in the action, not lead. I think like we are led to believe that her sister, is it Yijian?
Yeah.
Whatever, Yijian. Was a good high preceptor. And so like we had that really interesting thing of like someone having to step in to fill that role, knowing like this isn't natural for them.
This is it goes back to the theme of the whole chapter of like she has the title of the High Preceptor and she's bearing it, but she's not doing it well because she's fighting against it, which is also like she's constantly leaving and going on missions and stuff, which is not not good if you're the head of an organization, because the amount of times they're like, where is she? We need to talk to her, or she's not here. She's doing adventures. Gone.
And we see at the end here in a moment when we get to the final arc, she doesn't go into the hollow. She stays back to protect Wai Fei, which is the right place for the High Preceptor of Yunquei Summit, of the summit, to be doing. Like, so she fills that role better, but I felt like it made her a much more interesting character. Like, her absence did so much more to characterize Yizhuan in my head than if she'd been there the entire time, just like punching things and being super cool. I loved it, but I know there was some friction.
Yeah, Lou also has the same thing of like, he has survivor's guilt because he was basically too weak to go into the hollow, so he stayed behind. And so now he feels like, so there's a whole lot of people who aren't in a position that they feel like they should be in. And because of that, they are making irrational choices, and it's causing issues for other people.
Absolutely. Which harkens back to do not go quite into that dark night and all of Obel Squad and Magus's problems of like, and Isolde of like them being survivors of these situations. Like a lot of those narrative threads came right back together again with people kind of like dealing with the survivor's guilt of living in a post catastrophe and also active catastrophe world. Again, like I love that he's like, Banyue's cool. Like he didn't know he was doing it. He's fine. He's not guilty.
But yeah, I do kind of like the idea though. Like you have these people who, in a certain extent, they're upset that they didn't get to sacrifice their lives, and then the one person who is forced to sacrifice their lives secretly doesn't want to sacrifice her life. She wants to be able to live. So like you have,
she wants to at least be able to choose it.
Yeah, which she does.
It's about to happen. And again, this is another time where Belle's like, hey, maybe we should let Zhao Guang speak before you guys decide for her what she's going to do.
Yeah, so Zhao, she was like, no, like, I'm going to wield this sword.
I'm going to do this. I understand it. I know who I am. She chooses her fate, which is a huge shift in her experience and is, again, like, building up her agency. Really well put together. All of that builds into a satisfying conclusion, and then we get this really awesome cycling of the different teams that are going to be involved in this final action.
Oh yeah, they go over it again. Oh no, because so right after that, immediately I have it down. Lemnian Hollow 2 expansion, or Lemnian Hollow expansion 2, Hollow Boogaloo.
Hollow Boogaloo.
So now the Lemnian
team swaps
is really expanding. So everyone is there now. Hand is there too, and things are big if hand.
Part of hand.
What's that?
A hand. Only one hand is
two.
There. It's
Miyabi and Yanagi.
That's right.
Yanagi stays back to coordinate, because if you sent Yanagi into the Hollow, that would just solve itself right there.
Okay. There it is. There's the contractually obligated Yanagi glazing.
But yeah, so
yeah.
So we got to go in, and the only way to stop it is we gotta figure out how. We got a reason. We got to split things up, and we can't have all of the Void Hunters going to one spot. We have reasons for the Void Hunters to split up. We
need to quell the flowers. You need a monk to quell a flower. They spread these groups out. I loved the teamings, because some of the teams are really, really cool looking, and some of them I'm like, what is the plan?
No, I do like
the plan here?
You have Miyabi. So Miyabi by herself is a team, but then she's got some backup. Then you have
it's Miyabi, Banyue, and Dialin. It's a powerhouse trio.
Yeah. Then you have Obel Squad.
Yep.
And then you have Spook Shack.
Who was with Obel Squad? It was Jafufu with Obel Squad. It was Obel Squad escorting Jafufu, who is almost not present during that sequence, but it's fine. And then you've got online chat community Spook Shack hanging out with the Panda Chef.
I do love that they were just they're like, look, I know we just like collecting ghost stories, but also we're really powerful.
We're really good at fighting. They did justify. It felt like when you're playing a big party JRPG and you have to make 3 teams, and you've got your 3 2 really strong teams, and then the dregs that you haven't touched since they joined your party because they have morph skills or something, and so you sort of send them off to the corner and hope it's going to be okay. I did like them being I know they're just people, but they're really good at fighting. They've proven themselves.
So and then Yizhuan will stay behind and fight for as long as they need to get people out. So then we go in,
do her job,
and immediately we get ambushed by Tops. Which this is the perfect time for Tops to ambush us, is when there is a Hollow rapidly expanding at the rate that hasn't been seen since the fall of civilization.
I like them being oh, we don't care. That's not my problem.
Also, as soon as they said their name, their company name is High Ambition Corp, I'm like, that fits. They're all right, this is the perfect time while everyone's distracted to steal the Qingming sword.
We're just going to go take this sword. Why? Don't need a reason. We're going to do it. Did you notice right before that sequence, they showed us a map of New Air, the really cool animated sequence of the Hollow over from a top-down map, and the different groups going to different places. The aesthetic for that map was identical to the aesthetic in that pre-launch video that first introduced the different AIs and things.
Huh.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have a follow-up yet. Someone who's smarter than me, tell me why that matters. But that aesthetic was identical.
Maybe that just means that they're keeping with their style.
Listen, man, this is important. I think this is important. Shut up. Kiss my butt.
But yeah, so we get ambushed by Tops, and they're like, Zhao, you were sent on this mission to steal from Zhao. So Zhao, take from Zhao. And
Zhao, take from Zhao.
Yeah, and then that's when Zhao was like, no. And then she has a really cool scene where, like, they summon an army, and she cuts a truck in half. And then she has the, like, cut to frame as, like, she has the Avengers Endgame of, like, her taking on the entire High Emissions Corps.
Yeah, it was cool.
And then this is when we run off with Lock Spring. We do a little more investigating. This is where they, like, are like, oh, look, Sunbringer gave in to the creator. So if we happen to meet the creator, we should probably just give in.
Lots of mystery around Sunbringer. And then they get to the flower, and they're like, "Oh, the sword can't beat it, so I'm just gonna seal it." And I have in my notes, because sealing the creators worked so well in the past. I'm so glad that's the point.
And then, surprise, Lockspring, the guy who's been weird this whole time, is evil and he tore off his Band-Aid, and he's got this super cool, like, Two-Face thing going on.
I want a Lock Spring Bang Boo to join our team so bad.
And we don't know who it is yet, but he's got a split personality, just like everyone else in this story.
Yes, it's the other voice in his head. I wrote down, there's an agreement. Could this be another AI? I'll never tell.
Which, they obviously hint very heavily, because Fairy tries to find information, and they're like, you don't have permission. And you're like, oh, there's probably not many things that can stop a super strong AI from accessing it other than an equally strong AI.
And he I think the voice in Lock Spring's head's like, oh, you smell familiar.
Yeah.
Talking about Fairy. It's like, okay, cool. All right. Heard, chef.
So then Lock Spring does his evil villain monologue talking about breaking the cycle of sacrifice through a holy cleansing, and so we just need one really good sacrifice and everyone will be happy. And then as soon as he's done with his evil monologue, he does his Bang Boo run. He's like, I will destroy the world. Bop, 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 bop.
It's that tier below that one time when we saw Sarah summon enemies and just kind of waddle off screen earlier.
I love it because it, like you said, it goes back to, like, these Bang Boos are silly and cute. But also he's about to destroy the world.
He's a problem. Like, he's silly and cute, but he's ruining everything. Or he wants to. We get this great sequence. I think now is when all the spheres start to cry fog and summon creatures. And we get the fun, like, they want to make sure you feel like all of the characters are involved, so you swap from team to team to team. And I have in my notes that these teams are whack. It's like,
the first one I literally wrote, because it's Alice, Yuzaha, and Lucia, and I'm like, who built this?
Lucia. What is this team?
2 supports, one of which doesn't support Alice.
Help. Not in the slightest. And then, like, the next team is Miyabi, Banyue, and Dialin.
So it was just Miyabi.
Don't you have Miyabi? It's just Miyabi. I used Banyue for fun.
I would, like, switch to him, and, like, I would immediately start doing stuff, and I'm like, no, Miyabi.
Miyabi would just.
But so you have Alice and them, they fight, and then it goes to Miyabi, and she fights, and she's like, this boulder is a problem. I'm gonna hit it.
I'm gonna cut this boulder. Like, it's such a Miyabi response to anything of, like, I could hit it harder. And then we cut to Opal Squad, which Opal Squad made sense.
Oh my god.
Their team was right, because we got an actual C team. I was so happy to see Trigger on screen.
And then
I've been even more happy to see
Isolde's
ghost on screen.
When she showed up with the military, because I was like, oh man, like, they summoned, and then I was like, oh no, the memory of Isolde is here on our side.
Oh,
I was
man.
like, I was like,
part.
don't do this. Don't give us hope.
It's so good. It was so cool because it also solidifies that Isolde's dead as Disco. But like, it was such a cool like later resolution to like the whole like resolution in scare quotes to the Obel Squad story. They got some level of like cathartic release to fight alongside Isolde again. Like now their last taste of their old commander was partnered with them to confront an evil threat and not fighting against her. And Trigger was there. And I'm not as good at glazing people as Brian is, but I'm just happy to see Trigger again. Like I love her so much.
Yeah.
I liked this ensemble team up even more than I liked the resolution of chapter 1.
I think
like it felt like they were doing more
the fact that we actually got to like play them, because when they did it with Bringer, it was very much like they showed up, they were standing off in the corner. And it also helped.
I moved some boxes
that they weren't. Everyone was fully voiced because there wasn't a voice actor strike. So
listen, Brian,
like that, because not having voice acting really takes it out when like they cut to just silent people talking.
Text.
And
that was hype. There was one more team up. Sorry.
I was gonna say, and then
okay.
And then you have the Ninja Squad, because they cut the scene, and I just couldn't stop laughing at the 3 nameless monks in the background, like flying in, like they.
I was distracted by the dog showing up to fight.
I did love that the dog showed up too, and Zhao shows up,
and Belian.
I love the fact that they're like, oh yeah, she's still the unbeaten legend, like. They should have known better.
Yeah. They should know. Like, she's fine. So I loved that. And I also appreciated that, like, they were like, let's keep going. And Zhao's like, I'm coming with you.
Yeah.
Like, you're my friends. Like, what are you talking about? I'm here. Also, there's going to be a boss fight, and they need to have at least 2 people so you can swap characters. Yeah. But I'm coming with you. Let's go. Now, Brian, I have a fun fact for you that's a complete non sequitur. When you call an elevator in this game, it goes bwong. And that noise is the exact noise that they use for the login screen for Honkai Impact 3rd, another MiHoYo property.
That must mean something.
It's gotta mean something. It doesn't, except they have a bank of sound effects. I just thought that was interesting.
It's good. It's canon that these 2 worlds are connected now. They have the same elevator.
You joke. It probably is. Like, if I know anything about the Honkai thing. Anyways, more importantly is after the Bwong elevator, they run back into Lock Spring. They're chasing him.
So, and we get Lock Spring's
story, which was good. It didn't surprise me. I thought they did it really well. I thought Lockspring talked a little bit too much, but that's fine.
He's been alone for a long time. He needs to ramble. But
I did like him being like, I was
gonna say I like that you get the AI has decided that humans are not allowed to make their own decisions because they will inevitably destroy, and so Robot has to do what's best for them.
To make the right choice. And all this comes from like him having to like confront humanity at its worst, where his master was telling him to like kill a defenseless old woman for food, and then when he won't, his master does it, so he kills his master. So like he's already like broken. I
was gonna say it's he had to break one of his prime directives, and so he broke the one of listening to his masters.
It's a really cool exploration on like the protect humanity at all costs idea of like, what does that mean when like your core foundational rules have been like shattered. And then we fight
evil golden
dark golden mecha.
Yeah. Right before that though, we do find out that Sunbringer rejected the creator. Like,
I loved that. I was so excited
that they were like, because he mentions, he was like, it's this, she didn't accept the creator either, so it's like, okay, cool. And it's like, even after everything, Sunbringer was like, no, That's not the right way to do it. I will always fight for humanity.
And she did it by like talking to, like she engaged with creator too. Like it continues to hype up how just dang strong she's going to be.
Yeah.
And it's this explanation on like, they have the right to choose making it, to choose to make a mistake. Like you should have the right to make mistakes is like one of the core themes that keeps kind of coming up when they're talking to him. You fight a robot and then he just dies.
Yeah.
Like, and then he's gone. And then I wrote down, things are going down when the organ kicks in. Because as you're walking up those stairways, the background music's like that heavy church organ orchestration. It's really cool. And then Zhao Guang tries to eat a dark ghost.
Yeah, she
with her sword
tries to trap her in her, and then she's gonna kill herself.
Yeah.
And then Belle has more superpowers.
Belle's got more powers. I did like the parody, like the between like earlier when we saved Ye Shengwang by like having to like fight against dark forces and mash the attack button a bunch, to like doing it again at the end of the story, where you're like, I gotta mash attack a lot again. And she gets cut by some swords just a little bit, like in a cool way.
Yeah.
And then she's got gold powers that heal her up immediately.
Yeah.
I did see a picture online that apparently the patterning on Belle's eyes and Boba Fett's eyes is different. If you're playing as
Winky,
wipe. If you're playing as wipe during that sequence, I don't. Again, this is me throwing things into the ether that I don't know what they mean. That might mean something.
Probably just means nothing.
Anyways, Belle's got gold hands and like yanks Ye Shengwang out of the spooky ghost.
Yeah.
Like
then we fight Sarah again, ultimate evil Sarah. Mm-hmm. And
the control skills are fascinating. The control attacks, what they're called, the purple flashes.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what those look like in the future of Zenless, because they don't have procs.
I bumble-fudged through this
me too.
Because I had one, there were so many spell effects going off, I couldn't see, like...
Yeah.
And so after having now fought her a couple times and like various things, I now more understand like those basically you have to stop attacking in order to be able to like dodge those correctly.
Lock in.
Because it's very weird and it'll take some getting used to. But yeah, because the first time they were like, oh, you have to perfect dodge, and then I did it and I did it wrong, and I was like, I have no idea what's going on. Weird things are happening, and fortunately it was a story boss fight, so you just powered through and then you beat her. And like
they were giving us a hint with Hollow Zero with the ability to turn off red and yellow flashes, of being like, hey, you can play the game without these, and for control attacks you're gonna have to, because they don't, like, you have to still swap characters to parry the attack, but they will not give you a flash first. You just have to lock in. So I thought that was cool. I then wrote down in my notes, I paused to write it down, that it's weird that Sarah has heterochromia, because that makes her look a lot like Sunbringer, who has the one gold eye and the one blue eye. And then later on, they highlight.
I was gonna say, then they just directly.
I thought I was being smart, and they're like, "No, we're just gonna tell you, bro." Cool fight. Sarah dies.
We get couple.
Bye, Sarah.
We get some more cool scenes with our friends out there doing stuff.
Yep.
So then we save Belle, save Zhao, save everyone.
We save everybody.
And then there's another. So. Oh, I forgot that we forgot to mention Lockspring was creating those images of Carol the whole time to like trick us.
That's correct. But he was creating real things that happened.
Yeah.
He wasn't fabricating stories.
But he was like intentionally corrupting it so we didn't get the full story. And then Carol is again, it's still corrupted. She's talking up. She either made a choice, like made the catastrophe, or did it to prevent an even bigger catastrophe because they cut it out. But she's like, oh, they're gonna condemn me, but this is for the best. And Yeah, and they're talking to Belle and Winky as golden etheric beings.
As golden people. And it's like Arna put a lot on Belle and Whooper.
But, I mean, it's definitely setting up, like, I'll be interested to see if Belle and Second Assistant are human at the end of it all.
Yeah. There's something going on.
Like,
man.
Are they going to be beings of the same level or from the same source as the creator? Are they going to be hollow gods? Child of gods?
Are they even from this world?
Which,
because a lot of other Hoyo properties have played with the fact that, like, your character is not from this world, so they're special.
And I mean, it would also go back to like the lot of the Greek mythology of like them being demigods.
Yeah,
and
that's what it feels
some
like.
Extent.
Is like our parentage is a mystery that they're not going to explore till at least version. Call it now. Let's see, 7.x will be when we get our parents. Figure out who our dad is. Anyways, it was cool to see Carol like kind of hinting at these things. I'm curious how long they're gonna like let that ride, because at a certain point it starts to be annoying.
Yeah,
that we're only getting bits and pieces. Like, just tell us things if you're gonna tell us things. But we get that chunk. Things start to resolve, and in the denouement of everything, one, we get to see, and I might do some of these out of order, but it'll be okay. We get to see a Void Hunter born. We get to see Ye Sheng Wang become a Void Hunter in front of everybody, and it's all very important. And it's important that she gets to choose it, right? Like, she gets to choose.
Yeah, I also
becoming a Void Hunter.
We finally see the mayor, and he's more generic than I thought.
Kind of a dude.
I mean, I was just imagining he was going to look interesting.
Yeah. I don't know if that's going to be one of the things where like they intentionally make him look kind of like clean cut and everything to underlie the fact that he's like, he be scheming, or if the next time we see him like as an actual character model, he's way more fleshed out. Or
like
missing
it could just be they're like, look,
like,
they're like, I don't know why you
armor.
keep thinking the mayor is like some evil, like he's just a good guy.
All I'm saying is, Brian, is we were teased with Void Hunters before the game came out. One of them was a big guy with huge armor. I haven't seen the mayor and guy with big armor in the same room is all I'm saying.
No, but you also haven't seen the Angels of Delusion and guy with big armor in the same room.
Yeah, actually, I haven't seen the mayor and the Angels of Delusion, so maybe the mayor's actually 3 pop idols in a trench coat.
It's possible.
And a face paint.
So we also had, after we leave, also not nearly enough was made about the giant elaborate underground like chamber that they walked into.
Super chamber.
But so Lockspring has his final moment of like, oh, he's like, I get it. At the end, I understand. And then Yokai is like, rejoice, New Eridu. Yokai is here.
Oh, man. It's so cool. We have another AI. Yokai confirms that he was the one chilling with Lockspring. I mean, he's just like, there's things happening. I might as well have some fun until then. Like, Yokai is going to be a problem.
He's definitely the antagonist for 3.0, if not farther.
I would like to see, what I would like to see is Yokai being a problem, and this individual who is able to keep Yishuan stuck in a hollow being a problem, and I want them to not be related to each other at all.
Ooh.
Like, I would love to see multiple, like, issues, so they can't just clean it all up with a nice tidy bow of, like, even when they're dealing with this guy who, like, trapped Yishuan, they're getting sabotaged because Yokai's like, well, I'm going to mess with stuff over here.
It also could be kind
like,
of a
up?
Nice thing of, like, 3 different forces, so... Like, it's not 2v1. It's like they're all constantly, like, interacting with each other. And that's kind of where the balance is coming from, is from multiple people acting in different directions.
Yes. Make it messy. And all of that compounded with the fact that, like, Topps is up to something.
They are...
Like, always.
They
always.
Are now going after the weapons or they say they are going after Void Hunter weapons.
Void Hunter weapons are going to be huge in 3.0.
And the question I wrote down is, are they looking for the weapons wielded by Void Hunters or weapons that can take out Void Hunters?
Yes, I agree. Is it like, yeah, I'm like, and it also made me wonder, like, so when Yishuan turned down becoming a Void Hunter, if she hadn't done that, would they have been like, there's a cursed sword and a bird or some ink or whatever?
They're like, all right, we can't do anything. We can't take her powers because that's just her power.
Yeah, it's just her power. I mean, I'm curious to see like what they've kept it really like deliciously vague about like what Void Hunter means, because it's clearly more than a title, but what that means in being more than a title, I'm really interested to see. I know you and I are the same in that we're a sucker for stories about powerful weapons. Like
big axe.
We're already like
big axe Void Hunter weapon.
Do it again. What's the cool weapon for part 3? I'm here for it. Yes, please. We learned that what we fought was not the real creator. It was a messenger created by the creator, but was like the actual real creator is probably somewhere else and was not dealt with. So that's still a problem. And then we also saw Belle's eye have a little bit of a freak out.
Yeah. Yeah, but
just a little.
And I wrote that there was very dramatic music for the eye thing.
It was dramatic music, and then she intentionally didn't tell things to Winston. Yeah. Like, are they setting us up for them being apart for a little bit? Which would be interesting.
Which is like they've been apart for a while now. Like they're separating them more and more every, the first season they were still hanging out. There was that brief time during Tour de Inferno where they were separated.
Yeah.
But this is the first one where like basically Belle has been running off doing adventures, and Wobbuffet was just sitting at the temple doing nothing for the entire story almost.
Just like looking at screens, browsing Reddit.
But
yeah, I'm curious.
And then then the final scene is the mayor reminiscing about someone and then was like, "Oh, I didn't think the creator was going to make another messenger." So it's very interesting.
Mayor be scheming. Yeah, dude. Okay, so let's take a couple minutes to kind of final thoughts here, and then we'll wrap it up. I really liked how much time they gave everything and how they let everything kind of resolve. I'm interested to see what the next couple of patches do to set us up for what 3.1 is going to be, 3.0.
I'm imagining, if I had to guess, so the Angels patch is going to be kind of a like palette refresher sort of thing, kind of like Astra Yao's was right before we had the Vivian arc. So I'm assuming it'll be like that again, where we'll have the Angels of Delusion and they'll do their thing, and it'll like still move stuff forward a little bit, like it'll help time progress without having to like progress the main story. And then whether they have 1 or 2 patches, something's going to happen that'll pull us back to New Eridu proper.
Yeah, I was just thinking.
I'm assuming it's just going to be like oh no, Hollow Zero's doing something.
Or the mayor's like, hey, come on back now. Your Wi-Fi's fine. I realized that apart from the Angels coming up, we know we get, I think it's Sunna and Arya in the next patch. And then the third one, the interesting one, in the patch after that, or at least like the second half, we don't have any idea what other characters are coming down the pipeline. Yeah. There's been it's silent.
Yeah, we've got we haven't had the typical, hey, there's a really interesting character model in the background.
Yeah. It's not, I mean, like, it's almost like they were silent on the Angels for super, super long. And now that the Angels are here, it's deafening, and we can't see what's on the other side of that. And I love this place to be in. I think it's really interesting. I'm curious to see if so all the stuff with Yishuan being absent, how much of that was we need this to set up parts of the story, and how much of that was we accidentally added a Void Hunter level character early in the patch, and now we need to balance everything. And do they do it again?
I think they did the best they could for coming up with reasons why the two Void Hunters, or one Void Hunter, one Void Hunter level, weren't at the final fight.
Yeah.
But it definitely... I saw some people talking about this in our Discord where they're like, everyone who they set up in Wi-Fi Peninsula kind of became very passive in the final chapter, which felt a little... It felt sad.
It's tough.
They felt underutilized.
I think that's like...
And I think they're going to keep having this issue going forward, that as long as they keep making a bigger and bigger cast, you're going to have too many people and you can't give them all proper screen time. And so you're going to have people that you want more of and other people that get... It's basically whoever's getting focused on for the patch is where everyone else is going to be like a background character to that.
Well, I think it's interesting too, because like a lot of the tropes of the genre got in their own way, because they were playing a lot with like Chinese martial arts stories, like film and stuff, where the protagonist at the time has to be the best of the best, amazing at what they do, like except for the Obel Squad patches, where Obel Squad, new characters, really interesting, but their strength is their team, not the individual. So it was a lot easier to have, like, you didn't have to just have, like, if just Orphe and Magus had rolled up, it would have not had the same effect of, like, the squad rolling up. The same, which we can't say about, like, Yunkwai Summit, where, like, I guess kind of Jafufu, like, showing up, but, like, you have a lot more of these big names that are like these singular like powerhouses. I would not be surprised if some of the future stories are, unless it's a Void Hunter, are a lot more like, this character is really cool within the context of their team or organization. I guess like Spook Shack does that pretty well too, but Spook Shack is such like a potpourri of characters anyways.
But I mean, I think you're like, you're right though, is like Obel Squad and Spook Shack are more about the team, and so it doesn't feel weird when like they're working together and one person in particular isn't the highlight. But like you said, when you have Yizhuan
Banyue Laura Banyue, not gameplay Banyue. Like, you've got these like super powerhouses. It feels weird when Yizhuan doesn't do things.
Yeah.
Because she could do things. like we've seen her do it. She saved the whole town easily.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because like in 2.0, they had her be like, oh man, she is going to be vital. And then I think, like you said, they realized they wrote way too strong of a character way too early, and so that's why they had to have her just gone for basically the entire... She showed up, she gets us started, she shows how cool she is, and then she disappears, because if she's anywhere nearby, she overshadows everything.
She's gonna do it. The good news is we're wrapping up with Wi-Fi Peninsula, which means and Yizhuan is essentially stuck on Wi-Fi Peninsula because of her role. Yesheng Wang is a little bit less stuck, but she's a Void Hunter, and so it's very easy to be like Void Hunters be Void Huntering. Like, they don't have to worry about them being involved again. So, like, they do kind of have a pseudo fresh palette moving into 3.0.
And that's where, I think I talked about it before, where, like, 3.0 is going to be the time where I'm really interested to see how much are they revisiting old characters, or are they introducing an entirely new cast? Because we have Hand, so we already have the best of the best for Void Hunting, like, through the actual government. We have the PubSec. So like they've established already the best tiers. So if they introduce new bester tiers, it's going to be weird. So that's where I'm hoping.
I don't know,
because the hard part is, how are they going to do it while still being a gacha game? Because they can't just keep repeating, and like that's where, like, how much are they going to go into alternates like they did with Sanby? Are we going to get like Badlands Billy
I would love for that to be the faction that gets like the alts first, like like Ninetales Nekomata or something would be really cool. Because like it's not Love in Deep Space. It's not its characters are all getting alternate versions. They will have to add new factions and things, and like there is the general conceit of it is a gacha game, and they make money off of new characters, and the new characters need to be hype because that's where their cash flow is. And like we will both talk about it and also be suckers for it every time it happens, because that's been our MO since we started this podcast, of just being like, I don't know, man, she seems pretty cool. I'm excited for her now too. I'm interested to see what 3.0 does. I don't want to put too much weight on it, but I think it's going to give us a really clear idea of like they've had 2 whole patches or 2 whole seasons to like figure out what Zenless is and like what drives it. And I think we see that really clearly, like storytelling wise, with the most recent couple of chapters of like they were a little bit longer, but like they've really been like leaning into what makes an interesting story and what makes the world interesting. I think 3.0 is the chance to start playing with like villain characters as well. And like, how do we react to those individuals? I would just love to see a villain make it past their own chapter introduction. Like Sarah kind of did, but also not really.
Sarah was sprinkled, and we got. But yeah, like you said, the chapter where they finally really dug deep and explained Sarah is she got eaten by the creator, and she was here in spirit only.
Yep.
She looked really cool.
We didn't even see her. We saw her face, We saw her face molded into Sunbringer's face.
Yeah.
Like, I do think, I said it earlier, I think Sunbringer's going to be huge for the 3 point whatever. I want to see Joyous come back as well, because we saw that really cool teaser of him at the end of one of the recent events.
Yes. Yeah, that's it. That was the other thing.
The Infinite Maze.
Yeah, at the maze, they teased Joyous. So, like,
yeah,
the Void Hunters, at least some of them, are around. Because I think
they're around.
The belief that everyone has is that all of them are dead. Because they all disappeared after the fall of Eridu.
Yeah. And I think we're learning none of them are dead. Like, they're all just... The world's essentially one giant wilderness. And so if you're strong enough to be a Void Hunter, you can probably survive in a hollow.
Yeah, I'm also interested what they do with the hollow, because, like, in 1.0, hollows were like, oh, you have start the clock, you have very little time before you die. And then in 2.0, they're like,
Seed lives
here. It's
here.
like, some people just live in these hollows. Like, I don't know if you've actually started exploring the new hollows that unlocked after the main story. And like, you'll just go through and like you'll turn a corner, you'll fight ethereals, then you'll turn another corner and there's just like people hanging out. And it's like,
okay, cool.
I know there's like limitations. It's kind of like all games where like the line between monsters being here and a city is like and like you're supposed to like extrapolate that it's bigger than it's actually presented, but it is just funny of like people are like just hanging out in these hollows. They spend a lot of time in these hollows.
Yeah,
like these
the introduction of Porcelain to the narrative has opened up a lot of opportunities to get wiggly with the rules around hollows. The really important thing is whatever 3.0 brings, it will bring a new iteration of some kind of fishing minigame, which is all we're really excited about over here in my household. And Yanagi might show up again just for Brian. Yeah. Hey, should we wrap up? My Audacity window says 1 hour and 50 minutes, so we should probably start bringing. I'll edit some of that down, but we got.
I was like, we didn't even talk about some of the other, like the Void the Sword Chronicles. So,
which I really want to. We can't. We'll try to hold on to that for next time. If we don't, as always, jump in our Discord, chat with us about it. If you are interested in joining the Discord, there's a link down below. If you tried recently and it didn't work, I think I've updated. I was told by one of our Discord members that the link was not working anymore. I have updated the link in our show notes, so it should be updated. If you try to join the Discord and it does not work, there's also an email address. Now, if you're of a certain age, email is the way people communicated before they had WhatsApp. You can make one through Gmail in like 30 seconds. Send us an email and let me know, and I will update it and also send you a Discord link. But that's the best way to engage with us. Our next episode will be out on February 5th. Can't believe it's already almost February.
Time flies.
During that time, let's see. This patch will still be going, I believe.
But we'll probably have, at that point, I think we'll have like solid information about the next.
We should, because I just looked, and I'm bad with dates, but at the time of recording, there's 16 more days on the Yesheng Wang banner. So yeah, I mean, we might be there right on the precipice.
So we'll have like 2 days before, which means by the time our episode comes out, the new patch will have dropped.
Yes. Okay. So
which that'll give us perfect time to talk about events that people won't be able to do by the time we talk about them.
The worst. Hey, y'all, we're not going to get to it. So go do the Sword Chronicles. It's really fun.
It's not that hard.
And talk to us. It's not that hard. It's not going to take you that long, and you can 100% it like pretty quickly. But it does flesh out a lot more of Zhao Guang's whole experience. And technically, it takes place like shortly after the end of the 2.5 story. All the other events, we'd be happy to talk about them with you on our Discord.
The Infinite Maze will be over, I think, by the time this episode comes out.
Yeah, do your co-ops. If you're not already, do your co-op stuff, and save yourself some sanity and start at least playing with other people once a day, and then enjoy it. It's fun, and it shouldn't take too long. But if you want to get all the rewards, you have to do more than just the bare minimum. You have to do some extra runs. Yeah, man. So next episode, we'll talk about whatever's coming next. And Zenless, we're going to be on that 3.0 creep of like finding the little bits and pieces about what we think is going to come next with version 3.0, as well as our thoughts on the Angels of Delusion, which I will say right now, I'm still not interested in. I'm just going to go ahead and put a stamp on it because I can almost guarantee what happens the first time one of those banners comes out.
make sure you clip all these audios.
Yeah, clip that chat.
Just like 8 months of I'm not interested. So anyway.
I don't care, but I kind of really care.
Ooh, I got to collect the set.
Yes. You know, you get one, you get them
They're
all.
They're like Beanie Babies. You got to collect the set.
Yeah, and much like Beanie Babies, they'll definitely appreciate and value over time. Let's wrap it up, dude. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, this was a good.
This was good.
I liked. I liked the story.
Yep. If you last thing I'll say is if you felt like our approach to recounting the story was a little bit different this time, it was a little bit less beat by beat, a little bit more kind of like if that resonated with you, let us know.
Or if you hate it and just want us to read you the story, we could do that too.
Yeah. If you skipped the whole story and you really just wanted us to tell you what happened, that will be on our Patreon. All right, Brian, we will see you guys in 2 weeks.
Bye.
Bye.